Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at the Micromaster Rescue Patrol from Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Trilogy, and it's comprised of Red Heat and Stakeout. I don't know, Red Heat's a weird name to me. Stakeout, that's great. I'm pretty sure that was the same name of this Micromaster back in the day. And maybe this guy was called Red Heat as well. I don't know. But then I would go back to the 80s, I would pose the question, why not Red Hot? I feel like that would be a better name, but Red Heat? I don't know. In any case, they look pretty cool. Here they are in the packaging. Love the artwork up here. Very, very neat. On the back, you can see Stakeout, Red Heat. Very cool. They form a weird kind of blaster that I don't think looks that great, but we'll get there. So let's go ahead, let's get them out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. So here they are out of the packaging. I think they both look good. I like Stakeout. I love the giant, like, police shade visor that he's got going on. Looks like a pair of police sunglasses. I like that quite a bit. Transformation, very simple. Just kind of push the arms against the sides. They kind of clip in. There's like a super tiny little tab in there. It's kind of hard to see because it's black, but there we go. Then this flips down, and then you just flip these around. Very simple. But I like the little police car. I think that looks good. Very simple to do. Obviously transforming it back, very simple as well. And then you just kind of unhook the arms. So the arms have a ball joint in the hip, and then you have, I guess that's a ball joint in the leg. Yeah, I guess it is a ball joint. But he looks good. I like him a lot. Does his head turn? Yeah, his head actually turns from side to side as well. Wow. That's pretty cool. Now you might be saying to yourself, hey, this guy looks kind of familiar. And he probably should. I don't want to say it's like a direct mold reuse, because it's not. But it transforms pretty much exactly the same way. So it's definitely very similar. But you can see the chest detailing is different. The legs over here are a little bit taller. But I like Stakeout. I think he's pretty cool. Getting on to Red Heat. I think he looks good. I really like the head sculpt. I think that's really cool. And I love the color scheme. The red, the white, and the dark blue. His hips are crazy loose, though. Really loose ball joint. I mean, they're not going to fall off or anything, but he almost doesn't want to stand. Luckily, he has these really big heels that help him stand. But, wow. Ball joint here in the shoulder. Ball joint in the hip. And then just a normal swivel in the knee. And then he's got these really long hips. Long hips. Long heels. But you can see that's trying to pop out of there, so that's not really that great. So they're doing what they can. But, again, if you think this guy looks familiar, you should. It's pretty much the exact same mold as this guy. With just a ladder instead of a tank turret. So, otherwise, pretty much exactly the same. Not really any different there. Transformation's the same. These fold up like this. You can actually take this completely off if you want. It just pegs in very simply. And then you just kind of stretch these out. Flip these around. And this doesn't really peg in like the other one did. Which is kind of weird, I'll admit. So let's see if I can get this to peg. So it should like peg in here, but it's just kind of open. So it doesn't really. And then you can put this back on. And then here is your little fire truck. Which I have to be honest, it doesn't really look like a fire truck as much as it looks like a tank with a fire ladder on top of it. It kind of looks goofy. This can lift up. You can flip out this part for the hose, so then you can move this around. Now, unfortunately, you can't, like, I would want to continue this all the way around, but it stops there. So, there's that. But it can spin, and then this just folds back in. And like I said, if you wanted to take this off and and flip it around this way, you could. Because then you could flip it out the way you'd kind of expect. Let me see if I can get this out again. There we go. I just feel like this would be more beneficial to be able to go up and down. So it's up to you. I mean, you can flip it around, you can move it around, depending on how you want to have it work. But it definitely looks... I mean, I see they tried to make it look like a fire truck, but it really, to me, looks more like they just wanted to reuse the tank mold. So they... I mean, here's the thing. I know there was a Rescue Patrol Micromaster team back in the day, and there was a fire truck, and there was a police car. I don't remember if they were repaints back then too. To be honest, they probably were. Repainting molds to get more use out of them is not a new trick. So it's very possible that the tank guy was repainted into this guy back in the day, and they're just following suit. But I mean, they're not bad. Honestly, yes, they were created to reuse the molds, but I think they're decent, with the exception of this guy's hips just being crazy loose. I think they're both pretty good, and I like having them. I definitely like Stakeout more than Red Heat, but I do really like his color scheme, and I love his head sculpt. The mold doesn't work amazing as a fire truck, but it is what it is. They can do the combined weapon mode, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I've returned into vehicle mode because it's easier to get to the weapon transformation from there. You're going to flip out Stakeout's legs, just like that. You're going to flip the hood 90 degrees and pop out this peg, and that's it for him. You're going to take Red Heat, flip this up, flip out the legs, spin this around 180 degrees, and then you're going to peg these into the little slots on his chest, exactly the way the tank guy does it. They even transform into the weapon the same. If you can get it to actually stay pegged in. And then you're going to take this peg hole and this peg and peg it together, and you'll see that these kind of loosely notch into each other, and that's it. This is supposed to be the weapon. So here's Ironhide. Here's him trying to hold this mess, and it's not great. See, the problem is it doesn't even really want to peg into his hand. But there you go. That's, let me tilt this up. It's not good. It looks stupid. It holds together very poorly. I would just advise not doing it. I would take this, and you could flip this out, and I would say just if you want to use one of these guys as a gun, just do this. Fits in the hand much easier. Kind of looks neat. I could see using that. That looks okay. The other thing you could do, take this off, bring in this little dude, peg these feet back together, put his peg out, and then you can go ahead and peg this in, very similar to how you pegged those in before. Then you can just close this back up, and then you can use this gun, which again still is a little goofy, but I feel like it works a lot better, because I always thought that this guy with the tank guy, and I apologize, I'm forgetting all the Micromasters names, so I do apologize, but I always felt like that was one of the better guns, him combined with the tank. So since it's basically the same mold, you can still do this combination, and this actually looks kind of neat. The other thing you could do, if you really wanted, is just take this thing off completely. Come on now. And just use this as a gun. And not worry about the Micromaster piece at all. Just use that. So you have some options, but I would say most of them are not that great. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of conflicted with these guys. There was a Rescue Patrol back in the day, so I completely understand why they wanted to make them. But I also feel like they kind of just exist to be able to reuse molds we already have, which again, I do understand, and Hasbro's done plenty of times in the past, and sometimes the reuse or the repaint is even better than the original. That can be possible. I don't think that's really the case here, but they're Micromasters. I mean, if you just want some cool little Micromasters to add to your collection and bolster your ranks, I think these guys can be fun. The nice thing is, like I said, it's $10 for a 2-pack. I love Stakeout. I think he looks great. The color scheme's great. Like his articulation. Love the little police car mode. He's definitely my favorite out of the two. Red Heat is okay. I really do like the color scheme, and I love the face sculpt for him. This tank mold just doesn't really work great as a fire engine, in my opinion. I do like the ladder, and I like how you can... There's another one of those problems. We'll get to that in a minute. I do like the ladder on the back. I think that's cool how it can fold out and become a gun and everything. His hips are just crazy loose, and I've seen some other people have the same problem. I don't know why. I guess maybe it's mold fatigue already. But maybe you can fix it with some furniture polish or something like that, what people do to make ball joints a little bit less floppy. More or less floppy, that's English. Anyway, so I would say if you're a completionist, pick them up. If you just love Micromasters, pick them up. If you don't really care that much about Micromasters, you could probably pass on this one. I will say the weapon mode for these two combined is terrible. It's about as ridiculous as the two race cars just laying on top of each other. I don't really think it works at all. But again, I'm not buying the Micromasters mostly for the weapon modes. That's just kind of a bonus. Some of them are great, like the Decepticon jets that make the sword. I think that's by far the best one. Some of them don't work at all, and this is just one of the ones that don't work at all. But again, it's $10. If you want to just pick this up for Stakeout, I think Stakeout's great. And Red Heat is fine, but he's got problems. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.